there's a couple key buzzwords that you put there. You put qualified lead.
Yep.
So what do you consider a qualified lead?
Ready to buy in the next 3 or 4 months, pre-approved, and needs to move.
Okay, got it. Database. What does your database look like? What tech are you using?
So I said databases sound fancy.
Okay.
My database is my notes app on my phone.
I thought you were going to come at me with some wild.
No.
Yeah, I kind of felt that. And then I
Yeah.
saw you pop up on the side. I'm like, this dude's fucking doing damage. And then I called you the other day and I was like, about the new construction.
Yeah.
And you were like, yeah, man, this is what's happening. And I was like, oh, this guy knows the shit. Because respectfully.
You sounded surprised. Yeah.
Not many, and I don't mean this in a bit. I always tell investors, you can't ask a real estate agent what something's worth before you buy it.
Right.
Because first of all, I don't think it's their responsibility. It's your money on the line. So
Right.
you should know. Like if you don't know how much something's going to sell for as an investor, you shouldn't be buying it.
Yeah, right.
But at the same time, like in real estate, as in every other industry, there's not that many people that are really taking pride in their craft
Right.
and developing themselves to actually know more about what they do.
That's true.
So it was very impressive. Like when I called you, you're like, oh yeah, boom, this, that, 9-foot ceilings, finished basement. Yeah, you're 165, 170. I was like, thank God, because I thought I was going to lose money up until we just had this conversation.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Yeah.
So as we were talking about before, you said, do you do, mostly flips or this or that? It's been an evolution over the last 8
Right.
years. And one, as I got comfortable, 2, the deal flow that was coming, and then, 3, as the market changes.
Right.
So
You can't make money off the little fix and flip makeup type stuff anymore.
it's harder. So it's not that you can't make money. It's just harder. So
Gotcha.
a couple different things. As the market as values start to go up, land becomes more valuable. So like this has happened a number of times in my career. Back 7 years ago, I would buy a cape in Massapequa Park, 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom cape. And I would buy the house, ironically, for like $275,000.
Before my time.
Yeah. And how long have you been in real estate for?
So I've been licensed for 10 years, but I was doing like commercial real estate before that.
Oh, this was like 7-8 years ago. This wasn't that long ago.
Okay. But I've only been doing real estate on Long Island I just finished like my 4th year.
Okay.
So basically like a COVID.
So that kind of before your time. So yeah, we'd buy for $275. You'd spend like, $50,000, $75,000. You would sell it for $450.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it got to the point where guys were paying, $350 to buy the house and put a dormer on it.
Right.
And they were selling it for $9.
Right.
So all of a sudden you couldn't like buy those flips anymore because people were willing to pay more money.
Yeah.
So that kind of happens.
Yeah.
So I always tell investors, you have to be kind of fluid and you have to understand all aspects of investing because as the market changes,
You have to change with it.
you have to change with it.
Right.
So that's kind of what's happening with a lot of flips, especially in Nassau County,
Right.
where it's like, guys, we're buying land for $550, $600, sometimes more
Yeah.
to build a house that's going to sell for $1.4 to $2 million.
I mean, we've seen land go for 800 in Wantagh these days. It's insane.
That's wild. Some
Yeah.
guy just came to me. That doesn't make sense though. Like you can't make money.
Well, if you're buying it for 8, you're building for 7-ish, and you're trying to sell for 1.82, and then
But then
if you're using hard money, you're not making money there.
But even like, well, everyone's borrowing money.
Right.
People aren't doing that and paying cash for it.
Right.
Bro, just the real estate commissions on a $2 million house is $80,000 minimum.
Yeah,
So it's
that's
like, if you're buying for 8, you need to be selling for 2.2, 2.3.
Right.
Like right now we're building a house on Henry, 1555 Henry.
Yep. I drove by. Beautiful house so far.
Thank you. Like fireplace, double-sided fireplace in the middle,
Yeah.
4,000 square feet, 9-foot ceilings in the basement, fully finished, outside entrance,
Right.
10-foot ceilings on the first floor. Like we're going to break a record from what I can see to hit 2 million.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like, have you seen anything selling Wantagh Woods for 2 million plus?
We actually have the highest sale, 1.8.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's
The 2-lot subdivision.
yep.
So I'm trying to break that record, and I paid 6 for the lot, and we're going to spend a ton of money building this thing.
Right.
You can't do 8
No, but listen, there's people that want more than 2 million in Wantagh Woods right now.
that are listing for 2 million.
Potentially. I'll keep you posted.
But anybody could list for anything. The question
Right.
is, are
Is
they
it
going to
worth
get
it?
it?
Yep.
And you sold that one for 1.8, but the second one next door sold for 1.7 and
Right.
took a while.
Yeah.
And that's the most recent comp.
I think it's tough because a lot of builders want to be creative and change what they're building so they don't get bored building the same black and white house every single time.
Yeah.
But when you take those risks, it's kind of like how many buyers do you have for a house that's so particular, you know?
I mean, how risky do you think? It's interesting you say that because, and I'd love to hear your perspective on it.
Yeah.
Because I see builders kind of building the same house over and over again.
Right.
And it makes sense, but I don't think it's working for today's buyer. Because I think they always kind of like want to one up the next person and have something slightly different.
I think that's the social media aspect. Like everyone's trying to one up the next person. And I mean, the grays and whites went out the window for like after like 2 years.
Yep.
Now it's all neutral colors. But I think there's still, for the exterior of the house at least, people want to kind of stay pretty simple. Play it safe so they don't have to change it. The inside you could change all the time. The exterior of the house, if you have like a white and black house, it's probably safer to sell.
I feel like people want the same thing, but they want slightly different so they can feel different, but they're not willing to take that much of a risk.
Right.
The average person. So first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Diamond, baby.
Thank you.
Diamond, bling, bling.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
Year, thankfully.
So for those of you, and correct me if I'm wrong, for those of you out there who don't know, so Signature Premier Properties has they have a diamond award. The other one's what, platinum underneath?
Diamond, platinum, gold, silver. Yep.
Okay. So diamond is the highest.
Diamond's the
GCI 250 or more?
250 more, yep.
It's off GCI, it's not units, correct?
Correct. They have their separate award for units and volume, but yeah, they do it off GCI.
So just to put this in perspective, Signature Premier has 1,800 agents.
Right.
Great owners, great people. There was like 42 people on that list.
Yeah, probably around there.
So for all the bullshit you guys are seeing on social media, people aren't doing business. You're doing business.
Yeah, thankfully, man. We have a good team around us. Our whole team, I mean, last year we were 8 people on the team. I think 5 of us got awards, so I were diamond through silver. And then once those awards came out, we literally hired 5 people within the last 2 weeks.
Really?
Because it's easy to post houses. Like everyone posts houses like, oh, I'm selling this, I'm going to this.
Yeah.
But once the numbers come out, it's kind of hard to lie what you're doing. So
yeah,
it kind of helped us.
So I guess I didn't realize that you were in commercial before this.
Yeah.
You didn't like commercial?
I loved commercial, but I was living on Long Island.
Okay.
Taking a 6 o'clock train into the city, working from 6 to 6, going to networking events from 7 to 9 and coming home by like 10 o'clock. I was burnt out.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I did it for 5 years. It was great. You were making good money, but I knew I always wanted to do residential. So once I kind of built up that slush fund for a year.
That's interesting because they're very different animals. And the interesting part is residential is like commercial is way harder.
Way harder.
There's a lot more money.
It's all dollars and cents, a lot more money, but
it's way harder.
Yeah.
So
you think residential's works on based on who you know. Commercial's like that to a whole nother degree.
But the transaction volume and you're getting paid faster. Like with commercial, I always say to people like, you want to be in commercial, pretend you're not going to get paid for a year.
Yep.
You're not making money for a year. So it's interesting that you went that route to build up a slush fund to come back to residential.
So I went to college for 5 years. I got my degree in marketing, whatever. Okay. And then I stayed an extra 5th year to get my MBA.
Yeah, because who wants to grow up, dude? I did the same thing.
I was like, I'm just going to take a victory lap. I don't really want my MBA, but I might as well just stay here for another year.
I get it.
And I got an internship doing commercial real estate. So then through that, I got another job right out of my 5th year. So it was a base salary plus commission. So that helped me out.
That helped.
Yep. It paid for my rent in the city when I moved in for a couple of years.
So what within commercial real estate were you doing? You were doing leasing? You were doing sales?
I was an analyst for commercial investments.
Oh, okay.
So picture they'd be buying a ground up opportunity. They'd have the GP sponsor. We'd find LP equity, the financing, build the capital stack. And then,
this is the real deal. I'm getting tingly right now. I thought you were doing like leasing or sales.
No. It was sales, but it was like the analyst side of sales.
So explain that to me.
So for example, there was a ground up opportunity on the Upper West Side. They were buying the land. They had a sponsor that wanted to build everything.
Who were you working for?
Burko and Associates. It was like a small boutique company.
That did they actually do the building?
No, so they were one of the larger LP partners, but they were responsible for syndicating the rest of the deal. So we'd find the 80% financing.
That's interesting.
The GP would put up their portion and then we'd build the rest of it.
So they had a relationship with the GP. Mm-hmm. So for those of you who don't know, the GP is a general partner. That's the person that ultimately brings the deal and is going to be the developer.
Yep.
Limited partners are the ones that
have no
fund
say.
the deal.
They just fund the deal.
Exactly. Yeah, they have no say. So this firm actually specialized in being a capital raising LP.
Yep.
Just so I know, because this is interesting to me, what benefit did they get from raising the capital and putting this whole thing
You get a share
together?
of the profits. You get like a 10% management fee. You'd rate.
The LP would get this out of the GPs?
Yeah, exactly. So any portion that they raise, they would get like a 10% management fee. Because this would give like your everyday family access to these multi-million dollar deals in the city that you wouldn't have access to besides them.
So what were the means by which they were raising the money and who were they raising the money from?
They were raising money from friends and family, different REITs that were looking to get into deals that they couldn't find on their own.
So like when say friends and family, we're talking like big family offices, like money.
Yeah.
Like how big were these deals and how much money were they raising?
The most recent one was that before I left was like $140 million ground up development on the Upper West Side.
Right, so they're not going to people for 150,000,
so
stuff like
they
that.
had a certain aspects to like the people that they knew that they were able to get like, oh, do you want to put 250 into this deal and have access to this monster development?
Got it.
And it just felt cool for people like, oh, I'm part of that.
All right. But but they were going to family offices and they're like, cut me a check for
exactly
$5 million.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So it was kind of cool to have that relationship with people that I wouldn't have met otherwise, you know?
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you left that.
COVID.
Wait, so go back because I want to hear more about this. So what were you doing for them? You were doing the market analysis so that they can go out to the investors and say, we vetted this deal. This is what we think.
Yeah. So the GP would obviously have their underwriting.
Okay.
Everyone fluffs their own numbers. Like this is the safest deal and everything. So we go through that with the fine tooth comb.
Okay.
Make sure the deal is safe. Make sure we underwrite it on like a best case scenario, worst case scenario. And then once we did that, they'd be like, all right, we're deciding to invest and we'll bring so-and-so people on.
Got it. So they were got it. So basically the GP was coming to them as the original LP.
Right.
You guys would vet it. You'd put money in and then you would go to your network of people and raise more.
Yeah.
Were they specific to like certain asset classes or they were doing everything?
No. So it was everything from ground up multifamily in the city to value add garden style complexes in Florida.
So just so I understand this, like you had a marketing degree and you were underwriting, $250 million commercial developments in New York City.
Because we all know how much college means these days, right?
I was going to say, like, how does that
you
work?
You learn more doing a job than you do sitting at a desk and learning from somebody who is just a teacher. Basically.
How'd you end up getting the job?
An internship that I had my senior year. It was a friend of a friend that was looking to hire at that office. And it was a small office. It was like 35 people.
That is cool.
Yeah.
That must have been a lot of fun.
It was fun. It was just long hours. It was a big commute. And then after like my last year, I was recently engaged and I was like living in the city. And she was like, you got to come back to Long Island because I'm not going into the city. She hates the city. So then I was like, all right, I got to switch up here. And it helped. Now I have a 4-minute commute up the road.
Wow. I'm surprised it was so demanding with the hours with the networking and stuff if you were doing the underwriting. Or were they starting to break you into other parts?
It was a small office, so everyone kind of needs to do everything. So that was like my main purpose. But I was also able to find my own deals if I were to find them.
Oh,
and obviously you get paid. I had the base salary for the underwriting, but if I want to have that commission on a $100 million deal, I got to go out there and find it. They're not just going to hand me a check for 40 grand.
Oh, so you were going out there and building relationships with
I was meeting
brokers.
some top builders I guess in the city on Long Island. It was fun.
So, so you were basically going to meet GPs to bring them
Exactly.
in.
You go to these networking events that only they have access to, that our company had access to because of them. And then you got to make sure you dress the right way, walk the right way, talk the right way, and then hopefully find the next deal.
Wow.
Yeah. So what I'm doing now is very different than what we were doing.
I guess yes and no.
Yes and no.
It's still all people.
It's still all people, but there's numbers kind of go out the window, especially nowadays. It's all emotion based on Long Island.
Well, residential versus commercial.
Residential,
it's all,
exactly.
So with commercial, it's all dollars and cents.
Right.
There's no emotion.
No.
Residential, it's all emotion.
Yeah.
Which has to be an interesting kind of transition for you.
I appreciate the break that I've had from numbers. I was kind of
really?
over looking at a screen. I'm still good with numbers, but I just needed a break from it.
I expected you to say the other thing because, I mean, residential real estate, like people are nuts.
People are
just
nuts.
like people in general, they're nuts. Which is why we don't like pre-sell houses.
Yeah.
I've never like
to deal with the customizations, it's the worst part.
In any respect. One of my first mentors told me, he's like, I'll give you 2 rules. One of them I broke, the other one I didn't. One was never buy a house in North Bellport. I own like 25 houses in North Bellport, and I'm happy that I broke that rule. That's one. The 2, he said, second one, he's like, never pre-sell a house ever. He's like,
when you have it broken.
They'll torture you.
Yeah.
It'll take more. You'll make less money. He's like, it's better to finish the goddamn house, put it on the market. You like this tile, you don't. If not,
on to the next.
On to the next.
Yeah, but I've actually heard the other aaspect of that too. Some people like pre-selling because then you can upcharge.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but it's like, is the time worth it?
Right.
You paint, I thought it was going to be this color. Can it be that color? Yeah. Especially, we're doing so many houses.
It's hard to customize.
We can't. Like,
Yep.
dude, in January, we took in 19 new deals. We can't. Like, we don't have to. Like, our goal is we think we know. I'm going to say we know that within 3 years, we'll be doing 500 to 700 deals a year on Long Island. Like,
Jesus.
a mixed bag of things.
Yeah.
But there's no way that we have time
Not at
for
that
that.
scale, no.
I mean, those all aren't new construction. Like, this year, we'll probably build, let's say, somewhere between 30 to 50 new construction homes and then go up from there. But I mean, to have to deal with, and they're not like builder grade homes. We're selling houses at like 1.4, 1.5, 1.8, 2 million.
So you have a design team that customizes the houses, or you kind of know what you're doing beforehand?
No. First of all, I'm colorblind. I can't see color for shit.
Gotcha.
2, I have absolutely no idea what people like.
Okay.
I like weird shit.
Okay.
People don't like the stuff that I like, and vice versa. So
The weird stuff's coming back in though. People want like black walls and like a dark dining room, and it's very different out there.
I guess it all depends on your definition of weird.
Okay, gotcha.
So for me, I tested new construction in the past and I absolutely sucked at it because we were building like builder grade stuff. And I realized I'm like, buying a house is an emotional decision. And on the new construction side, it's not like, flipping a $500,000 house in CI.
Right.
These people will pay more
For what they want.
And what they love. And when they walk in and the wife is like, oh my God, I want to raise our kids there.
Sold.
The house is being, that's it. It doesn't matter if it's $100,000 more or $200,000 more. Like they're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
Like we just listed those 2 houses in Bethpage. One is gone, 1.4 cash. Like just, which blows my goddamn mind. It's like, who's walking in here to cut a check for a $1.4 million without blinking an eye in the first 5 days that the thing is listed?
If they see what they want, they're not worried about, even if they're getting a mortgage, a couple extra $100 a month, they don't care. They want the house. They're going to end up doing the same thing to the house anyway. Might as well have it done and move in the next day.
So at the beginning, I sucked at new construction and we didn't do well. We lost on a bunch of them because they were sitting too long and we didn't manage the construction process right and it took too long to build them and all kinds of shit. So we basically fired everybody in the construction department twice. Now we finally got it.
Okay.
On top of that, we're more in tune to the market and we hire professional designers. So we hire professional designers to design every house. Yeah. Now I'm actually hiring an in-house design team who's just going to design in-house because we have so many of these things going. Right. And we're currently interviewing in-house architects to be doing that full time also. Because, I mean, listen, you think about it, the amount of money it costs to hire these people and the delays that you have as a result of them not being dedicated to you because they have all these other things that they're doing. Right. It just doesn't make sense. Like interior designers, a good interior designer to design a house for you is going to charge you anywhere from $5,000 on the low end, which is nothing, to like $30,000. Yeah. So when you start building a lot of houses,
it adds up.
It adds up. And then when you talk about the carrying costs, like I sat down with my construction team the other day and I was like, guys, listen, we need a permit before we close.
Right.
If we have to do the disconnects for the demo, I was like, we need to be demoing within 30 days of closing. We need to be done in 5 months, so 6 months max. We need to be out in 9 months, a year max. Right. Like it costs $15,000 a month to carry a house that is going to be a new construction that's going to sell for like 1.5.
Because even the taxes on these knockdowns are what? At least $1,000 a month, if not more.
Bro, it's crazy. It's at least $1,000 a month. Yeah. You're financing in some way, shape, or form $1 million plus. Right. Do the math. The insurances, all the bullshit, right?
Like, now with the insurance prices going up too, and then your builder's risk going up, I'm sure it's not cheap.
Everything. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, builder's like just the permit fees. Now the permit fee is like $12,000 just for the building the permit fee. So I'm like, we got to move. Like it's got to be a freaking machine. You got to move your ass.
I did this on my house last year, and once I saw the permit fees and all the extra insurances, I was like, I am never doing this again.
Dude, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like if you really want to be good. Like there are guys out there that are doing a good job right now. You have a McGarrett who's doing a great job. Yeah. You have George from ESG who's doing a great job. Yeah. And those guys are doing like 10, maybe 12 houses a year.
Yep.
And they're running themselves. Once you get past, and they're probably on the brink of a nervous breakdown.
Yeah. Because you need to hire so many more people once you pass that, like 1 house a month.
That's the ceiling.
Yep.
Like once you pass that, now it's you need to build a machine with infrastructure and people and massive overhead. So you're either going to be at that level or under and be on the brink of a nervous breakdown, or you're going to be on the brink of a nervous breakdown scaling something that's doing tons of these things.
And not everyone's built for that. Not everyone wants to do that.
Not everybody wants that. Yeah. Not everyone's built for that. Yes, you're 100% right. But the interior designer thing, if I can recommend anything to anybody who is building new construction or higher end shit, even if it's gut renovations,
Right.
pay for an interior designer.
Yeah.
I'm not sold on the staging thing yet. I think the staging thing is kind of bullshit.
I mean, with virtual staging, do you really need in-house staging anymore?
And listen, if the layout is that screwy that people can't imagine where they're going to put their couch, you got bigger problems.
Yep.
So,
Have you seen what we do with the staging?
What?
So we do the virtual staging, but we have like the hologram postcards.
Oh yeah.
So you stand like where the photographer took the photo, and they're seeing the photo on Zillow of like the staging there. So you like flip it back and forth, and they're like, "Oh, this goes here, this goes there," and it saves you tens of thousands of dollars on staging.
Yeah, I mean, that's dope. You're with Seth, right?
I'm with Seth, yeah.
So I love Seth. I grew up down the block from Seth.
I heard, yeah.
I've known Seth since he was, running around like this.
Yeah.
We were both running around like this. So it's very cool to see, how much success he has. I remember I was in the body shop business. He was like taking pictures with drones and shit.
Yeah.
And we're both like, we're going to be in real estate. And then, here we are all these years later.
Yeah, I started with him 4 years ago, right out of COVID. We were at 2 boutique firms and then Signature. So I kind of hopped around with him too.
So let's talk about the hop because
Yeah.
I kind of compare real estate brokerages to the fitness industry in the sense that it's very fatty. In the sense that people are always looking for the next shiny object because they're not really getting what they long for. So you have, the fitness is a little bit different because most of the time people just want to eat the ice cream and not go to the gym. So that's a little bit different. But with real estate agents, they are longing for a lot of things, and new brokerages come out and they jump.
Right.
So most agents have been to 3+ brokerages trying to look for this thing.
The next best thing, yeah.
I wouldn't even say it's necessarily the next best thing. I would say it's the thing.
Right.
And most brokers fail to deliver it.
Right.
So what are your thoughts on that? And what is your, just kind of opinion of brokerages in general, your kind of transition?
Seth says this all the time. He's like, people always think the grass is greener where you go, but he's kind of like, the grass is greener where you water it. This is residential real estate. You're going to sell what you're going to sell no matter where you are. Yes, the backing of a bigger brokerage helps sometimes. Like a lot of my deals are signature to signature just because in Nassau County and Suffolk County, it's a lot of signature deals. They're the number one company on Long Island. When we were at smaller boutique companies, yes, we had the branding of like the team, but it was kind of hard for once you go out of like that South Shore, Nassau County area for people to be like, what is that company? I've never heard of you. And then they're kind of not scared of like the reputation just because they don't know it, but they're kind of like, I just want to make sure the deal is going to close and I haven't heard of your company. So I think the backing of a big brand helps, especially with Signature. We have our in-house marketing and everything. They take care of 90% of the deal. You just have to go out and get the business.
So in your opinion, is the number one most important thing in a broker for agents that are watching this, the fact that they have a brand so that you're recognized as the agent when you walk in the door?
I would say so. People think leads are like your number one thing that you want from a company, but you can get leads other ways. You can get leads from a team, you can get leads from lenders, you can go out and get your own leads. But if you don't have that branding behind your branding, I think you're missing something.
What would you say are the second and third most important things in a broker for agents that are interested?
These days, it's split, I would say, is number 2. Mm-hmm. Third would be training, but you can get training anywhere these days. So I think as long as you have the reputation, you can find everything else. Reputation and split. When I started 4 years ago, I was below 50% split because I was a new guy. Nobody knew who I was. And then slowly, once you get more and more deals under your belt, that split goes up. But people don't want to start low anymore. They kind of want to just have that high split. But 100% of nothing is nothing.
What do you think of the team structure? Because you're a top producing guy doing a lot of deals.
Yeah.
But you're on a team.
I'm loyal to a fault. So I've been on his team for 4 years and I'm not going anywhere. We get called. He knows I get calls every day. Come to this brokerage, open your own team. But if you're running a successful team, you're spending 6 figures a year on marketing, on training, on getting leads for your team.
Yeah.
If you're doing it the right way.
Which 99.9% of people are not.
People are kind of taking teams and making it like a pyramid scheme.
Yes.
I can hire this person, I can get this split. They can hire somebody else, I can get that split. But if you don't have the training, the branding of a team, and if you don't have a team leader that's coming on every listing appointment, every showing for you, at least in the first few months, why are you on that team?
100%.
Yeah. But it also has people like, oh, I want my high split. I'm not going to get it on the team. Meet with different team leaders. You'll see what the splits are. It's not as bad as people think that it is.
Well, no, and with other people, like I know Seth, and I know like he's an exceptional guy.
Yeah.
He's very smart. He freaking works his ass off.
Yeah.
The branding is amazing. Like the stuff that you guys are putting
Right.
together with the holograms and the boxes and the stuff that opens
You
up
saw that too.
is pretty. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's cutting edge for anybody on Long Island. I haven't seen anybody doing anything like
Yeah.
that. So everyone's not created equal.
Right. I mean, the branding that he's doing is $100,000 is on the low end. Like I'm spending probably close to that just on my marketing. Plus his marketing, and the good thing about his team is he has his branding, Signature has their branding, but they both are so flexible in what they allow. You can have your own branding underneath that. Why
Yeah.
not? Because if you're not building yourself under a team, why are you on that team?
No, listen, you have to spend money to make money. It's
Yeah.
it's that simple.
And I've realized that my first couple of years, I was doing a decent amount of business, but I wasn't spending the money because I was like, all right, I'm making this. I got to make sure I pay my bills. I got to get to the next deal. But when you kind of have that like laser focus on like each dollar, it's not helping your business. You just got to invest up front and then the money's going to come in. You just got to trust the process.
So talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
So there's 30,000 agents on Long Island.
Yeah.
You're one of the 42 at Signature that hit the diamond level. So, what are you doing?
I think it all started 4 years ago. It's not like it happens overnight. There's no overnight successes in this bit. There's
True.
some overnight successes in this business.
No, there's no overnight. There's no overnight successes in any business.
Yeah, but you need to have that circle of influence if you're going to have the business right from the get-go, which I didn't. I was 28 at the time. A lot of my friends weren't buying houses. A lot of my friends now are still not buying houses.
Yeah.
So as long as you trust the process, I didn't close a deal for my first 6 months.
Yeah.
I was just hanging out. I was a sponge. I was doing training. I was literally like not doing content, but I was like practicing in front of a phone. Seth would film me. He'd be like, all right, here's this response. What's your response back to the seller? What's your response back to the buyer? And I'd look back at it. I was like, this is fucking terrible. I was like, what am I doing? But it's people are kind of scared to go out of the box and be like, this is what I need to do to get better.
Yeah. No, you have to be uncomfortable.
You
It
have
like
to be
sucks.
uncomfortable.
Nobody likes to look at themselves. Like nobody likes to look at themselves on camera being
I still
awkward.
hate it. I still hate it. So, and you know how much he loves his content. So it's like every day is like, you haven't posted content in 3 days. I was like, all right, I'll get to it. But it helps these days. You have people that are bringing
have
up the
to.
business, doing content and getting deals.
Listen, Amanda, my girlfriend Amanda, she's getting 1.5 to 2. I think we quantified it. It's like 1.8 deals a month now off of social media.
Wow.
She's making videos about like the mall and shit.
It's what people want to see. People don't want to see house after house after house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the thing. She's making, things that are being built, restaurants, whatever. And a lot of them are via referral from other. This was the interesting. A lot of them are via referral from agents that left New York. So like they were born here, they grew up here, they left.
Right.
They have family that are still here. They want to be connected to New York, so they end up following her content because it pops up for whatever reason. The algorithm basically runs your goddamn brain. And then they end up sending her referral business. Hey, my sister's got to buy and sell. My brother, my cousin's got to buy or sell.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. That's why I got to step up my content game a little bit. But like I said, I'm more of a behind the scenes reserved type of guy. But I think there's a certain customer to every personality.
Yeah, of course.
When I started, people were like, you got to be louder. You got to be more energetic. You got to like run around.
No,
like,
you got to be you.
yeah.
Like
Especially working with a buyer. Like it's so stressful already. Do you really want somebody that's like yelling 24/7? Like you want someone that's going to bring you down to earth, be like, you got this, don't worry.
You are very calming.
I try to be.
Yeah.
I mean, this business is a roller coaster ride. It's not going to be good days every single day.
You have a very calming voice.
Oh, thank you. I don't know if that's a good thing.
No, it's good. It's the kind of thing like that's what you need. Like you I feel like you can handle chaos. And this business is chaos.
It's chaos 24/7.
All the goddamn time. And you deal with people and it's emotional. It's an emotional decision.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, I have to close and there's no CO on the deck. Jesus Christ, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
And you're just like, let me talk to you
figure it
calmly. And
Well,
you're
that
gonna-
also helps when you have the referral network that you do. That's what I started doing like my first year in the business too, getting your 3 attorneys, getting your 3 lenders, your 3 inspectors. Once you have people all around you that are going to make it seamless and less stressful, it helps you do your job. It's not costing you anything than going out there.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. So, like, kind of off your point before I had Mike McLean in here. You know Mike McLean?
Yeah.
So Mike McLean did like 57 deals last year, some
Right.
shit like that. He does like no social media.
Yeah.
He has his shtick, and he calls 25 people a day,
Wow.
and he has a sign on his front lawn that says Mike McLean, your neighborhood realtor. and he's bubbly and friendly and genuinely cares about people.
Yeah.
And he's been doing it for 30 years.
Yep.
And he does 50 something deals a year.
I mean, just because you're doing social media doesn't mean you're not sending out mailers, doesn't mean you're not cold calling or door knocking. You got to do at least a bit of everything. I mean, I do social, like I have stories and I have posts up every single day, but the video stuff is not so much me, but it's also just me over analyzing me. Be yourself, do whatever makes you comfortable, but you have to also make yourself uncomfortable to get the amount of business that you want to get to. If you're comfortable doing 5-6 deals a year, stay in your lane. If you want to get to the diamond level and keep doing more and more, stretch your abilities a little farther.
What do you want?
A lot. Life is not cheap. I mean, I have a kid now, so bills are adding up. We just built our house, so those bills are adding up. And I want to be one of the top 100 on Long Island, if not better than that. I mean, top 2% of Long Island is top 500 now, so we still got a ways to go. I know people are like, oh, you're on Diamond, you're doing great. I was like, yeah, but once you're at the Diamond dinner, you're seeing what other people are doing. You're like, what did I really do? You know, so big goals, but it takes time. It's only been 4 years.
I mean, listen, it's amazing. I commend you. 4 years. Like, bro, in 4 years, you're in the top level of agents. So I would say Diamond is 250 GCI or above, correct?
Right.
Can we say that's top 1% of agents?
On Long Island?
Yeah.
I think 2%
of agents?
Top 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I would, just so people understand, and this is through research and feeling, the top 10%, so there's 30,000 real estate agents on Long Island.
Yeah.
Half of them didn't do a deal at all last year.
Yeah.
The top 10% of agents on Long Island gross $85K a year or more.
Wow. So there's a big difference from the top 10 to the top 2.
Huge, massive.
Yeah.
You were one of 42, bro.
Yeah. And it's funny because you see those same names everywhere. The top 2% are carrying the business throughout Long Island. You're seeing the same people on every listing.
Yeah.
It's not easy, especially now.
But
people
it's just,
want the rates to drop. What are you going to do when the rates drop? Is it going to be 40 more buyers for each house? You're not going to get an accepted offer.
that's not good. That's you're not, like, people like to tell those stories, like, you're not doing business because the rates went up.
Right.
That's not what it is.
Especially here on our Long Island bubble.
And you're not doing business because there was less transactions last year. There was still 23,000 houses sold on Long Island.
Yeah.
You're trying to sell 12 or 15 or 20. That's not the reason why you didn't sell them. You didn't sell them because you didn't fucking work.
Yeah. It's true. And you got to be a go-getter, whether you're on the listing side or the buyer side. I mean, I think on the listing side, you have to be more like organized and methodical in your practice and your marketing. Yep. On the buyer side, you just got to be a people person. Know how to talk to people, make people comfortable in the process and trust you, especially now when you have to do all those disclosures beforehand.
Yeah.
People don't trust you. Why are they going to go see a house with you?
Why, what do you see the top, like, you're obviously hanging out with the top agents.
Yeah.
You're at the dinner, 42 of you guys, Big D swinging everywhere. What do you notice the difference between the top people versus the people that are not in that group?
It's kind of similar to what I noticed in my business. In the beginning, I was chasing every single lead. You get a phone call for a showing, you're running after that person, you're reaching out to them 25 times. Now, especially with the ways the laws have changed, you're going only after those qualified leads. If you're not looking to buy in the next 3 or 4 months, I'm putting you to the end of the database and I'm chasing that business that's ready now.
So you bring up, there's a couple key buzzwords that you put there. You put qualified lead.
Yep.
So what do you consider a qualified lead?
Ready to buy in the next 3 or 4 months, pre-approved, and needs to move.
Okay, got it. Database. What does your database look like? What tech are you using?
So I said databases sound fancy.
Okay.
My database is my notes app on my phone.
I thought you were going to come at me with some wild
No. We
shit.
have KV Core or Bold Trail, whatever it's called now, but I used it when we started at Signature, and then it's just easier on my phone. My notes app is very organized. Like I have different notes for buyers, for sellers, and when they're looking, but it's just easier.
Yeah.
I know you probably have some crazy database.
I have custom built like 5 CRMs at this point. I know everything there is in the CRM. I probably spent $250,000 building them. It's an absolute fucking nightmare.
Yeah. But see, there's no 2 ways to skin a cat. People are doing business both ways.
Yes, but I will tell you, the CRM thing is a game changer.
I'm sure.
You will do more business.
Yeah.
You will. I'm telling you.
Yeah. And once you get to a certain scale, you kind of have to. You can't keep track of everything.
But even now, like if there was one thing that I would encourage you to do, 2 things. 1, be on camera more.
I knew that was coming.
2, I don't know KV Core because I'm not on that side of the
Right.
business. And I don't know if it's good or bad. But you need a CRM Great CRM will do a couple things for you. One, if you're really into it and you seem like you're a sharp guy, you're an analytical guy, you were analyzing fucking $300 million deals on the streets of New York City. It causes you to think about your business in compartments of the way things happen and the way things flow. And it enables you to like identify where bottlenecks are to improve your business from all aspects. Because you can't design and build a true CRM until you understand your business. Because if someone was building it for you, they don't know anything about your business. They just know how the CRM works and how to create automations and stuff. So that's one. Two, there's no way with your notes app, there's no way like you can get a reminder every day like, this is what your day looks like. This is what your day looks like. You're supposed to be following with these people. This is your schedule. You also can't automate lead flow, drip campaigns, things like that. So like if you have a landing page, if you have social media, if you're using ManyChat or whatever, you can have those things running and leads just being dumped into your system and you get pings and you call people within a moment's notice and you're there. The automations, the drip campaigns, the things like that, like we're hitting people with text, ringless voicemail, email, all kinds of stuff. Like the automations and things like that are done.
Results in good business.
I mean, bro, it's a game changer.
Wow. Okay.
So in January, so I really learned about marketing like 18 months ago. January, 19 deals. So 19 new deals in January alone. This week so far, we have today and tomorrow, we have 5. Last week we did 7. The week before we did 6.
Wow.
We think, I know, that we can do 500 to 700 a year.
That's crazy.
It's wild. Like last year,
CRM for your CRM.
There's lots of CRMs feeding into the CRM, but it's not just a CRM. It's a lot of different things. But it's very, very important. It'll keep you on task. You can keep up with more people. It's too much, bro. Yeah. Because in order to do a ton of deals, you need a ton of leads. In order to keep up with a ton of leads, like you need a way to organize it.
Right. You got to be present 24/7. If I just keep the notes app going.
The notes app it works to a certain point. Yeah. But if you want to get to the next level, you need the next level of organization.
For sure.
So it's hard. It's a constant process.
Yeah.
And it took me a really long time to get there. But I commend you, man. You're doing really big business. I had no idea.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Very proud of you. Congrats on the award. Congrats on the new baby.
Thank you.
I saw the kid. Kid's very cute.
He looks just like my wife.
No, I mean this.
So I'm darker complexion, darker hair. She's blonde hair, blue eyes. This kid, she was like, "Oh, I have all the recessive genes. He's gonna come out looking just like you."
How old's the baby?
5 months yesterday.
They change a lot.
They
like
do,
the first year.
Personality wise, he's like me. He's very relaxed. He doesn't cry. She was like, at least he got that aspect. So.
There you go. and again, in the next probably year, eye color can change, facial features change. Yep. I see a blend of the two of you guys.
Okay.
Based on your Valentine's Day post today.
Ah, yes.
So in conclusion to all this, and that camera right there, there's a lot of agents that are watching this and they want to be you. Mm-hmm. Let's call a spade a spade. Every agent, if I called up any agent and was like, hey, would you be happy if you were grossing $250,000 a year or more? They'd say, hell yeah, but they're not doing it.
Right.
So what would you say? Like either 1 gem, 3 gems, whatever it is you want to share with Long Island's real estate world, the people that aren't where you are, that want to be where you are, what would you say to them?
It's different for everyone, but what worked for me is working 7 days a week, being under somebody who's doing 250 or more, way more than that at this point, learning from them, copying every single thing that they do, and doing that and putting your spin on it. Make it yours, but follow somebody that's already done it because it shortens your learning curve by years.
Yeah, paying for knowledge via commission split or just flat out paying for it is an amazing investment.
We don't live in a world where you could take 5 years to learn a craft anymore. People want success in the first year. It's not going to happen in the first year, but by that second or third year, you're going to see it kind of taking off.
I mean, listen, it's very cliche to say, but time is literally the most valuable thing that you have.
Right.
If you can pay to compress that,
why wouldn't you?
I'm still doing that to this day.
And then you don't have to stay with that system forever. If you learn what you need to learn and you want to do your own thing, go do your own thing. Nobody's forcing you there.
Exactly.
But if it's working, I have no reason to leave.
So basically, break your ass, learn from somebody who knows, what they're doing.
It's not a hard business. You just got to do the work.
I couldn't say it better myself. Anybody out there looking to buy or sell? Tell them where to find you.
Kunal Sewani, Signature Premier Properties, the Seth Levy Team, 516-263-4439.
Handsome, you got a house. If you have one, I want to buy it. 516-777 sold. That's a